Computer. There, right, we're now recording. So, yeah, well, perfectly honest, I've like phoned you up under a bit slight false pretense. Just to say, I don't know if you're aware, but every year we have annual awards and recognitions.
Oh, right, okay.
So I'm really, really thrilled to be able to tell you that this year you've been nominated and are the recipient of Young Volunteer of the Year Award for the BMC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Very nice.
So, yeah, I don't know whether you were aware of it.
No, I didn't know you even did the awards, to be honest.
Yeah. And I think for your exceptional voluntary contribution to the BMC. And when they were set up, I mean, there's a few awards, volunteer awards. So there's a George Band Award for like exceptional voluntary contribution, and then the Rehan Siddiqui that goes to people that contribute towards promoting equality and diversity in the BMC, and then the Young Volunteer of the Year Award. So someone nominated you, and there's been a panel of 5 of us, and we reviewed them anonymously. So yeah, it's fantastic news. So yeah, so tell us. I mean, and I know from the nomination form a bit why you've been nominated. I mean, I think it's primarily to do with you being working as a youth area coordinator and all the work that you do with the youth competitions. So, and the coaching and just all the mentoring that you do for young climbers. So just want to expand a bit on that.
Yeah, of course. So for quite a few years now, I've kind of been coaching multiple members of youth teams from around the area that I live, which is in the north of England, really. And over the last year or so, I've set up my own business doing it and things like that as well. And for the last for the last 2 years, I've been the area youth coordinator with somebody else for Yorkshire and the northeast. And before that, I used to help out anyway at the competitions, and it's kind of all spanned from when I used to do competitions, and obviously I've been in the youth climbing series myself, competed there, and then I got into coaching, and it kind of all spanned from there, really.
Yeah, but not everyone though that takes part in competitions then goes on to become involved in volunteering in the running and then become the youth area coordinator. So what was it that made you want to do that for the BMC?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I've kind of just since I started coaching and things like that, and I've always kind of, as you know, with my job and things as well, I just don't mind kind of getting stuck in and just getting the job done and trying to help out, really. And I don't mind volunteering something like this. Obviously, just giving back to the sport that I started out in, really.
Oh, brilliant. And you mentioned, I know what your job is, but can you tell everyone else what your job is?
Yeah. I'm a police officer now, so I'm doing that doing the volunteering, and then I've got the coaching as well that I do on the side. So I kind of, when I joined that full-time job, I didn't want to give everything up as well in the coaching world. So I'm kind of still going to all the competitions that I can do when I'm not at work, and still helping out where I can, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know you are a youth area coordinator, and that's, I met you at one of the competitions, and it was at Awesome Walls, Leeds? No.
Big Depot.
Sorry, cut that, Emma. It was at the Big Depot, Leeds. Yes. And so how many competitions a year is it you organise, and what does that involve exactly?
So in the youth climbing series, there's 4 competitions per year that the area youth coordinators organise, and most of the area youth coordinators help out at the grand final as well. But that kind of involves having to you speak with the BMC and organise kind of what venues are going to host the competitions, and then we get like a list of all the competitors that have signed up for the competition as such. I'm in quite a fortunate position because of the way that I came into the coaching and being the area youth coordinator. I know quite a lot of the kids that are in the area that I work in, so then we can kind of pick the climbs for them, pick the grades, and kind of talk to the setters depending on who we've got in each category, and then we have to contact all the parents and contact all the kids to sort out kind of what's going to happen on the day. And then just normal things like sorting timetables and things like that out so that the competition runs smoothly on the day, and making sure that all the rules are in place so that we know what to do if we get appeals and things like that. And just general organisation, really.
Yeah. So for those that don't know, there's, like you said, there's 4 competitions. 2 are lead or top roping and 2 are bouldering.
Yes.
That's right. So so the ones, and if you talk through the age categories, I think they start at 8 years old.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Yeah. And the 8-year-olds, they do top roping, don't they? Only.
They do. So in the two roped competitions as such rounds, categories E and D will do top rope only, and then categories C, B, and A will all do lead climbing.
Yeah. Yes. But all ages do all the bouldering.
Yes. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So when I came then to the big depot in Leeds, I mean, it just seemed incredibly busy, but very, very well organised. I mean, I arrived and you were sat there at the desk checking the competitors in, checking, making sure all the consent forms with the parents or carers were there, and the photograph sort of disclaimers were signed and everything. So, I mean, that to actually get to that point, I can imagine there's a huge amount of organisation. And then on that day, I mean, how many children and parents and carers and coaches were actually there in the big depot?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you first get there, like you say, it's kind of getting the registration sorted and things like that, and then we have to try and get a number of volunteers together as well, because obviously the competition won't run without the volunteers, just like myself. So luckily, again, because I know the region so well, I see quite a lot of the people that volunteer every year, kind of thing, on a regular basis. So it kind of helps in a way that I can kind of sort quite a lot of that kind of stuff out before the competition as well. So I know who I'm going to be relying on the day as well. And then I think usually we get in our region. Last year, I know that most of the rounds were averaging about 80 kids. So then if you've got 80 kids, and they usually bring 2 parents at least, and then you've got the coaches on top. So there's quite a lot of people in the building to look after.
Yeah, and then the special things you have to be aware of as well, in case any of the children are colourblind. So to be able to talk with the route setters. So there's all sorts of things to organise. It's quite complex, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Depending on the different kids that enter, different kids have different needs. So like I said, with the colour blindness, sometimes we have to go up and tape all of the holds so that they're able to have the, like a fair playing field as such, even though they can't see the colours of the climbs. So it's just about trying to cater to whatever needs they have, really.
Yes. And so leading up to just like one competition, how many hours do you reckon it takes? Have you ever counted up the number of hours?
I've never counted up the hours as such. Me and the other area youth coordinator for my area, we split it between ourselves really well, and he's got a lot of experience doing this as well, so that helps. But I think after, because obviously I've only done it for 2 years, but with me being in the competition scene and things and seeing how things are done, that definitely helps, knowing exactly what it is that needs to be organised. And so I've kind of got it kind of streamlined the process as much as possible now to sort it all out beforehand as such.
Brilliant. So I mean, and actually then after the competition, you say, well, there's 4 rounds, isn't there? And then there's a grand final.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, I mean, but how are you coping though in lockdown with there being no climbing?
Yeah, it's really weird, to be honest. I do a lot of climbing myself as well, so that's odd in itself, just not being able to do that. I've started cycling, which I never used to do, but cycling's now my new sport by the looks of it until lockdown is over. And then obviously the competitions have all been postponed, so we only did 3 rounds this year in the youth climbing series. The 4th round got cancelled, and the grand final has been rescheduled. But at this time, who knows whether that will go ahead or not. We don't know what the future is going to hold. And then on my coaching side as well, trying to create new creative things to kind of keep the kids that are now locked down at home, that would normally be climbing in my climbing sessions, giving them something to do as well, and stopping the parents from going crazy as well.
Yeah. So have you got any training at home?
I do. So luckily I've converted my garage, so I've got like a fingerboard set up. I've got a pull-up bar and rings and TRX and things like that. So I've got plenty at home to kind of keep me busy. I haven't got a climbing board as such, which seems to be the big thing at the moment. Everybody's building home boards at home now.
Yeah. But I suppose though, with your job, I mean, you're working though still full time as well as a police officer.
Yeah. So it's I still don't have a huge amount of time as a lot of people do at the moment.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, it's amazing that you do volunteer. So are you like in contact then? Is it just with the kids that you coach, or are you in contact with any of the other young people in your area?
No, yeah. So after last year, we ended up myself along with some of the other parents, we set up a Facebook group for our entire area, so that
wow. Yeah.
The kids from different areas can all kind of communicate with each other and decide when they want to climb in. And last year, before the youth climbing series, this year we did like a meetup just to kind of so that everybody could kind of meet each other, all the new kids that were joining in the competition and things like that. And so we kind of try and help out in other ways as well, not just in the youth climbing series itself.
All right, brilliant. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add, or?
No, I'm just surprised. To be fair, I wasn't expecting it.
No, it's fantastic, and it is brilliant because that young people like yourself, just hearing you say you want to get involved, just to give something back, it's absolutely fantastic, because volunteers are what makes the BMC. So we just, well, I'm just so grateful for all the hours and expertise that you put into this area of volunteering. It's fantastic. And yeah, so are you being sort of like coached then to take over from being the area youth coordinator from the other coordinator?
Yeah, I mean, he has a lot of years of experience of doing it. I think it is maybe his 16th year now. He's definitely he's seen it all, and he knows how to handle everything that gets thrown at him. So that definitely helps.
Yeah, brilliant. Because I mean, you must be the youngest youth area coordinator. Because it's a lot of responsibility, and and the organising and the responsibility before, after, and during is huge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I don't know every single youth coordinator at the moment. I think I'll have been 19, maybe 20 when I first joined doing it. Yeah, maybe potentially, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so because I know the BMC, they run training for the youth area coordinators, or they have meetings, don't they? Have you been to those?
Yeah, so I went to, before the youth climbing series this year, I went to a meeting about kind of just talking about how the year before went, and what we can improve, and just get different ideas of what happened at different areas, just to try and see if we can resolve any issues that might crop up the next year, really.
Yeah. So have you got your eye on anyone that might take part in a future Olympics?
I mean, I think there's huge amounts of talent out there,
Yeah.
and the climbing seems booming at the moment. So I'm sure that there'll be a few that I know, and many others know around England that'll eventually make it there.
Yeah, I know. It's, yeah, I mean, we just have to all wait till next year now, but yeah.
Yes.
So what happens now, Kody, is, well, why we're recording this is, and I'll probably stop recording it now because then we can just have an informal chat, unless
Yeah.
there's anything else you want to add.
No.
Right, I'll stop recording it then. So, recording.